Iraq is no longer making small moves. What is happening right now could become one of the most important financial developments in the country's recent history. The United States has frozen millions of dollars connected to Iraqi financial entities. Baghdad has responded. And at the same time, Iraq is pushing forward with a massive national budget while trying to reduce its dependence on the US dollar. When these major forces collide at once, investors around the world begin paying close attention. The developments unfolding today have the potential to shape the future of Iraq's economy and the Iraqi dinar for years to come. The situation began when U.S. financial oversight mechanisms connected to sanctions, compliance, and international dollar clearing systems restricted access to millions of dollars linked to certain Iraqi financial channels. While this may sound like a routine banking issue, its implications are much larger. Iraq's economy has long relied heavily on the U.S. dollar for trade, banking, and international transactions. The Central Bank of Iraq holds substantial dollar reserves, and Iraqi banks process large volumes of dollar-based payments every day. When access to that system becomes more restricted, the impact can spread across the entire economy, affecting businesses, imports, banking operations, and public confidence. What makes this situation particularly important is Iraq's response. Rather than simply accepting the pressure, Iraqi officials have accelerated efforts to diversify financial relationships and reduce excessive reliance on the dollar. Discussions about conducting trade in alternative currencies have intensified, regional partnerships are being strengthened, and banking reforms are continuing at a faster pace. Iraq has faced similar challenges before, but today's response appears more organized, strategic, and focused on long-term stability than previous attempts. At the center of these developments stands the Central Bank of Iraq. The institution faces pressure from multiple directions. International restrictions affect dollar liquidity, while domestic concerns focus on inflation, prices, and confidence in the national currency. The central bank must carefully balance these competing pressures while maintaining stability. Every statement, reserve update, and policy decision released by the bank is now being closely watched by investors and analysts who are trying to understand where Iraq's financial system is headed next. Another crucial element in this story is Iraq's federal budget. The government has adopted a multi-year budget framework designed to fund infrastructure projects, public services, economic development, and long-term growth initiatives. However, every budget is built on assumptions. It assumes a certain level of oil revenue, stable financial conditions, and manageable currency pressures. If any of these assumptions change significantly, policymakers may be forced to make difficult decisions regarding spending, borrowing, or economic priorities. This is why the budget has become such a critical part of the current financial landscape. Many people focus on individual headlines without recognizing the larger picture. The dollar restrictions, banking reforms, exchange rate management, budget planning, and oil market conditions are all interconnected. Together, they reveal a nation attempting to modernize its economy while navigating significant external and internal pressures. Understanding these connections is essential for anyone trying to assess Iraq's future economic direction. No discussion of Iraq's economy would be complete without addressing oil, which remains the foundation of government revenue. Oil exports provide the majority of funding for public services, infrastructure development, and national spending programs. When oil prices rise, Iraq benefits from stronger revenues and greater financial flexibility. When prices fall, fiscal pressures increase, and policymakers face greater challenges. This relationship directly influences the country's foreign reserves, which are a key tool used by the central bank to maintain currency stability. As a result, developments in global energy markets remain critically important for Iraq's economic outlook. At the same time, Iraq is participating in a broader global trend in which countries seek greater financial flexibility and diversified trade relationships. This does not mean the US dollar is disappearing from international finance, nor does it suggest a dramatic overnight transformation. Instead, it reflects a strategic effort by Iraq to strengthen its economic resilience. By expanding partnerships, improving banking compliance, and exploring alternative trade mechanisms, the country hopes to reduce vulnerabilities and create a stronger foundation for long-term growth. One question continues to dominate discussions among investors. What does all of this mean for the Iraqi dinar? The reality is that meaningful appreciation in the currency would require several conditions to be met. Iraq would need strong and sustainable oil revenues, successful banking, and compliance reforms, reduce differences between official and market exchange rates, and a stable political environment capable of supporting long-term economic policy. While not all of these conditions are fully in place today, some are moving in a positive direction, which is why analysts continue to monitor developments closely. International institutions, such as the International Monetary Fund and the World Bank, also play an important role. Their assessments of Iraq's reform efforts can influence investor confidence and provide important signals about the country's economic progress. Likewise, Updates regarding foreign reserves, fiscal management, and banking sector modernization offer valuable clues about Iraq's ability to maintain stability and continue moving toward its long-term goals. Ultimately, Iraq is navigating a challenging but potentially transformative period. The financial pressure created by dollar restrictions is real, the uncertainties surrounding oil markets are real, and the demands placed on the national budget are real. Yet the reform efforts are also real. The modernization initiatives underway today reflect a country attempting to build a stronger and more resilient economic system capable of supporting future growth. For investors and observers alike, this is not a moment for panic or unrealistic optimism. It is a moment for careful analysis, patience, and close attention to the indicators that truly matter. The coming months may prove to be among the most important in shaping Iraq's financial future, and the decisions made during this period could have lasting consequences for the country's economy and currency.